Our guest for today is Mr. Gaurav Gupta. He's the founder of a very successful web and mobile product development company called Squarebot. He's also the founder of Hacker, a community where individuals can share and discover online programs and tutorials. He's been around in the industry for about 14 years and has worked with some top-notch companies like Educom, Naukri.com, Lightshare by LinkedIn, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, and so on. Welcome, Gaurav. Thank you for making time for this session for us today.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gaurav. So this presentation is about, basically motivating and informing everyone on why design is such an important aspect of, software overall, and why you think why we feel strongly that design is a very good and very long-lasting, everlasting career option for all of you. So the presentation, that I've kind of created, or the topic that I would like to discuss with all of you today, is why design actually matters. What is the importance of design, and why does everybody feel that we should even care about it? So let's actually just try to figure out why that is really the case. So first of all, I'd just like to introduce myself before we get into the whole journey of design. So I run an IT company called Squarebot. So we've been basically working with startup companies over past 7 years and helping them build software products. Our software products are primarily in two categories: mobile applications and web applications. We help. The two focus areas in the company clearly are: one, very good design, and second is very highly scalable engineering. So these are the two things that we really focus on as a company, and that's what we actually stand for. Little bit about me. I have about 14 years of experience now started off my career in 2007 with this company called SlideShare, in case anybody has heard of it, which is now a LinkedIn product. Then I've spent a couple of years with Educom, which was back in those days a pretty big edtech company. Smart Class product, which some of you might be aware of, is also a product of Educom. Then I spent a couple of years with InfoEdge or Naukri.com, basically working with them on building the Naukri.com website, which some of you might be using later on in your lives. And now I run Squarebot, which is a IT company focused towards building software products. So that's what we have as of now on my introduction part. So let's get started with why design is actually very powerful. Okay, so think about it. So the work of a designer, when I say designer, I purely mean UI design, communication design for the context of this presentation. So the work of a designer sits at the highest level of interaction between a user and a machine. So there could be millions and billions of lines of code or anything which is super complex, which could be running behind the scenes, but actually the user doesn't care about any of that. The only thing that he actually interacts with is your design. Right? Think about Google, think about Apple, think about the products that you use. There is so much happening behind the scenes. Think of how complex a Google query is actually running, how many data centers are there in the world which are actually helping you serve that query. But all you really care about is if the text box is actually able to deliver the information that you really care about. That is the only thing that is there on your mind. So as the designer, what you have is, at that point of time when the user is using your product, you have the ability to control his actions, you have the ability to control his thoughts and even his emotions for the time that he's using your product. That's why I truly feel that design is really a superpower when you're using design for the purpose of building products like these. So moving forward, first of all, let's talk a little bit about now various aspects of why design is so powerful. So the first one is about designing. Designing is about conveying your message. So communication design, right? So communication is about communication fundamentally, which is about getting your message across, right? So one of the most important aspects of being communication designer is to help your user understand that at a glance, what your product and service is all about, and whether it is useful for you, but useful for him or not, So there are various aspects of your communication design which can really help that user understand whether the product or service that you're offering actually makes sense for him or not, right? So it can be in the form of some very informative text. It can be in the form of a tagline. It can be in the form of product screenshots. It can be just about good graphics. It is just something that your user. So, when you are using the web, think about when you're using the web, how much have you actually read through? You are always glancing at stuff and trying to figure out whether that thing is actually making sense to you or not, right? So the most clean equivalent that I can think of is that you are a driver driving a car at 100 kilometers per hour, and the website that you are seeing is nothing more than a billboard. You have a fraction of a second to understand that ad and try to see whether the product that is being advertised is making sense to you or not, right? In the same way, when people are browsing your product, they don't have much time, they're not going to give you too much importance. Your communication has to be about conveying your message in a quick and crisp manner, so that your tool can actually make sense to that person, and that person can decide whether it is something that he or she finds meaning in or not. So conveying your message, very important part of making sure that your tool is and your product is understandable, and that particular part. So just few examples that I have put on the screen, you just see how quick and crisp these messages are. So few examples from Uber, from Google Photos, from Stripe. Everything just kind of quickly tells you what this product is going to do, and that's the communication design that these companies have mastered over the period of few years. Going forward, design is about setting the user's flow. So let's talk about, again, in the context, we're talking about user flow from an app and web perspective. So the purpose of a good design here is to actually align the user's actions with the business objectives of the company. So for example, how does your design convince or allow the user to quickly sign up? Let's say we take an example of Spotify. How does your user design, how does your design allow the user to quickly sign up, listen to a song perhaps quickly, and then kind of convince me to buy a paid plan? So the business objectives of the company are to make that user a hooked user, and then possibly use that user to get him to a paid plan. So the whole journey of the user, from the first interaction at the time that he has downloaded your app or kind of just bumped into your website, to the point that the user is in line with what the business is trying to achieve from that user, that whole flow is what a good design can actually convince the user to do. So for example, I mean, the analogy here is again that the designer is actually the driver and the user of the product is the passenger. You are the driver of the car. You have to decide, you can decide with good design on how the user journey across the product can go through, right? So as an example, let's say, so Twitter, when they launched way back, they discovered very quickly that when people follow 10 people, then Twitter becomes addictive for them. That insight came to them from some user research. So the design team was then instructed to make the design in such a way that the user who is signing up for the platform can get to 10 people whom they are following as quickly as possible. And that is how a design decision then becomes something which the user which the company can align to, and then subsequently lead to the growth of the company. So everything which is around the flow on that particular product can be controlled by design thinking, can be controlled by giving your users a very clear clear path on where they are supposed to click, what they are supposed to do. As and when the user is proceeding on the journey, things can be made to happen. Going forward, so design is about grabbing attention to the things that you want the user to click on and hiding things that you don't want them to actually notice, right? So very interesting few examples that I can give you here. I mean, the examples that you see here in the screen, in the slide here, also think about. So there is a clear cut, there's something called Apple Arcade, which has a button which says try it free. Just try to see if you think about purely from design perspective, this blue color never gels into the design of the rest of the page, but the color is chosen in such a way that it stands out, grabs all your attention. And if you notice, there is a fine print which says that the first month is free, it's 99 rupees per month after that, but they don't want you to see that, right? All they want you to see is that it's try it free, get your attention on that spot, and make you do that action, which is again in line with what the company is trying to achieve. So the idea is that by making products and designs in such a way, you are actually able to decide where users can potentially click, where the click will go through, and just see multiple examples all around you. You will often see websites like, for the one example, the one on the right, which has such a clear message which says get started with Hotjar, and there is a button which says try it free. So the designer of this particular page is trying to get all your attention to the fact that there is a button which you need to click on, and it's, in technical terms, we call it a call to action, a CTA button. But the CTA is clearly defined so that the user has a very clear objective, has a very clear click area, and that is where we want the user to actually go and click on, right? There is Another way that you can actually think about it from the exact opposite sense, how can we make information presented in such a way that the user does not actually read it well? So let me give you one example. You might have used many products where you have seen a terms and conditions, which you have to agree upon before you kind of sign up on the website or on the software. A trick in design is to make the terms and conditions written in all uppercase, okay, and write it in a font which is deliberately not very legible, so that people don't bother to read them, right? These are small things that designers use to be able to utilize their power of basically at controlling the attention of the user. If I write it in a very clear font and I make it very readable, sometimes people might read it, and sometimes people might think, okay, this is what my information is going to be all about, and probably some of them might object to it. But if I want people not to read something, as a designer, I have the power to kind of make my design in such a way that people deliberately skip over that, right? So it is the art of hiding things as well as the art of showing things or capturing attention for certain things. Both of these things are basically possible through design. So one of the other examples that I can actually bring you here is that on hacker.io, what we see is that there is a button on the page which is focusing around the Facebook share. So you click on that button and it allows you to share that particular page on your Facebook feed. Now, one small change in design, just to give you an example, what we did was we let the button be on the size that it is currently in, but we made the F word, the F alphabet inside that button little bigger, right? It actually gave us 2% more clicks on that same button, right? So, but just by controlling that design on the page, we are able to control the user's action on that page. These are the things that are really, really cool. And that's the power of design.
And every 2%, I'm sure, has a lot of value, because
yes,
2% on an e-commerce website would mean lakhs of revenue.
That's correct. So and if you're talking about 2 million users, 3 million users have coming to your page, then that 2% is not just about, a few 100 users, it's a few thousand users, which means a few thousand users of additional revenue as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So going forward, I mean, this is my favorite one actually, which is the persuasion part. So a designer has the power to make the user do things which he otherwise ordinarily would not have done. That is the power of design, communication design. So let me take a few examples. You need to find a video on YouTube. You happily go and open the YouTube app or the YouTube website and search for something, right? You see whatever content you searched for, but YouTube has very interesting ways of putting other videos around it, right? And the communication design is kind of poking you that, hey, that video that you have seen is done. Now let's see this one also. And the moment you are done with the second one, it will ask you again to see a third one, right? In the same way, if you notice that on Amazon, in the one that we have shown on the screenshot also, you buy something, then Amazon tells you, okay, this is fine. But what we have seen is that historically, people also buy this XYZ product along with the product that you are buying. As an example, if you're buying a laptop, they will also try to push in, the cover of the laptop. If you're trying to buy a mobile phone, it will always try to patch in the cover of the mobile, So those are the things that you as a designer can actually make the user purchase just by putting in those elements at the right spot so that it catches the user's attention. Similar case for, Prime Video, similar case for Netflix. It is always try to convince you to watch that next movie or that next, episode by just trying to play around with the elements on the page. These are the things which are, really, really powerful as a company, as a product owner, because these are the things which are actually persuading the user. You had no intention to watch the second video. You had no intention to buy that laptop cover or the mobile cover, or you had no intention to actually binge watch on the next episode. But the UI was so convincing, the design was so convincing that the user was persuaded to doing something which he had no plan for. And that, is one of the biggest things that I feel that design is really powerful. There's the things that, you can make the user do without his conscious mind kicking in and letting the actions kind of just fall through without the user even realizing that he's about to spend some extra money or he's about to spend that extra 1 hour into things that, he otherwise did not necessarily anticipate or expect to do at that point of time. So that's one of the biggest powers I feel that design has. The next one I feel is about getting a smile on your user's face. I think just about controlling the emotion of that particular user at that point of time. So the power of design, it can truly frustrate actually, and it can truly delight also. That's the power, So think about, the frustration part. Let's talk about a little bit about that. So you might have seen some websites, you might have used some tools, you might have found a setting or a button which is incredibly difficult to find. You trying all the menus here and there, you can't figure out, which menu should will contain the setting that you are trying to contain. Obviously, a button on the app somewhere which is very difficult to click, sometimes very difficult to find. People are deliberately, trying to hide buttons here and there. In the same way, as much as design can bring frustration, in the same way design can bring delight as well. So very, very simple things, the ones that we are seeing, the ones that you see right now on your screen, finding a match on a dating site, presenting that information in a beautiful manner, winning a game, getting a scratch card on your Google Pay account, and a Domino's pizza saying that, okay, your order has been dispatched, things like that, presented in a nice, convincing, beautiful way, which makes the user anticipate things. If you've got a match on a dating site, probably anticipating next steps after that. If you won, a game of Ludo, possibly, using some points in some interesting manner, a token, a scratch card one on Google Pay. Again, some delightful things that you can do with the extra money that you've just earned. So by presenting that information in a nice, meaningful, interesting way, just notice how Google Pay is putting that trophy, on top of that amount. If it would, there was no reason for them to put that trophy. They could have just said that you have 500 rupees in your account. But this, that trophy, that confetti on top of that, or is just trying to give the user the kind of celebration that it's an option. It's a moment which you should really rejoice, because it is something that we have given as a special token of appreciation for you. In the same way, if you notice the way that, the dating app has informed the user that you found a match, they made the screen so colorful. They put both the photographs kind of sitting together, trying to intimate, basically show that, that this is a special moment for you. So these are the small things that design can do, which can actually create, a sense of smile. It is actually powerful to the extent that when the user is creating or using your product, you can actually control the user's emotion. So these are the things that, I feel design can be really powerful for.
It's more than a smile if you match with Alia Bhatt. That's one lucky user.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And also I think design is also about setting expectations, demonstrating brand values to some extent. You would notice that if a company has a very well designed website, a very well designed logo, a very well designed, let's say a business card, if you meet somebody from that company or from that college, I think the perception of that company completely changes. Design has the power to basically demonstrate the professionalism of that company, the thought process of the company. A company which has great presence on the web, very strong presence in terms of good design, neat colors, professional looks, everything is top notch. You will tend to generally perceive that company or that particular brand in very high, highlight, because for you it's a premium company. The same thing is exactly the opposite way is also true. A company which does great work but does not focus on its branding activities, that does not focus on getting that design aspect of their branding right, or their website right, or their other things right, that company, no matter what great work they do, often just tend to get treated like a company which is not very, good, not very friendly, not very professional. So design has the ability here, or the power to basically convince the user that the company that you're going to work with, or the brand that you're going to work with, is a professional brand. And that's the power of design as well. So by choosing a career in design, you're actually choosing one of the most impactful careers in the world. One of the things that all of you should know, is that technology is going to rule the world over the next few years, right? Every single thing will be software oriented, or as we go along in our journey of our lives, whatever used to have happen in a traditional way is all going to be software oriented. And everything, because it is software, then the design of the software is going to matter the most. And by choosing a career in that field, you actually have the ability actually be a part of the part of career which is the most impactful careers in the world. You can see immediate differences from the way that your product is designed and how your users normally respond and adapt to your product. These are things which are, I think, just mind blowing. Even somebody in 14 years in the industry, I still find these things so fascinating, that small decisions, small improvements, small tweaks, small changes here and there lead to so much of a difference in terms of how what we expect the user to do. Let's say one of our clients, let me take one example here. So we worked with Paisabazaar, which is mentioned on the right hand side here. Small thing, Paisabazaar has millions of people coming on their website on a day-to-day basis. But one of the things that they often face is that people come on Paisabazaar, but let's say they don't end up buying a particular service from them, right? So we were working on the credit card part. So one of our work that we did with Paisabazaar was to make sure that we redesign the user interface in such a way that more people are able to actually apply on the card. So for the given input, for the same input, let's say you have 1,000 people coming on the website every day. Let's say only 2 people used to apply on a credit card on an actual basis. Our UI design change, no change in anything else, just UI design. We made that flow from 2 to 20. Just imagine that, by just getting that particular design fixed, and just by helping and understanding what the user expectation on that website is, we are able to convert those numbers from a small number to a pretty big number, and just multiply that number now by 100,000, because that is what the actual traffic is, and see how much of an impact it creates. 2 credit card applications a day versus 2,000 credit card applications a day will mean so much of a difference in terms of what your website stands for and what your company does. So again, some of our work that we have done for various companies, all mentioned here: Jubilant Group, which is the parent company of Domino's Pizza in India. Then there is Dunzo. Then there is PVR, Paisabazaar. And again, many other design-oriented companies. Oxford Cab, some of you might be aware about. Tripoto is a very famous, very popular travel blog. Jambori and Inlingua, I think some of you already might know. So all of these are companies that we work for. Design is a very, very strong emphasis in our work. We try to make our products very clean, very understandable, and highly usable. That's what we really stand for as a company, and that's what reflects in all the products that we build for our clients as well. And lastly, we have you are most welcome, everybody, to see our design portfolio. Dribbble and Behance is what we have been using quite a lot. There's our own website, and if anybody has any questions to address to me directly on a one-to-one basis, also my email ID is mentioned. Please feel free to reach out. Happy to answer your questions at a later stage as well.